Yeah, hold on. I got something to look at real quick. You said my.
It's
Oh,
on
we're
Facebook.
live. Hey guys, this is an impromptu poetic conversations. I have Bree Nix, I have Nettie Long, and we just gonna get into it, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So the topic for today is finding your why. And I thought it was very important to have this topic at this particular time because as you know, 2020 is wrapping up and we're going into 2021, and I think it's very important to go into 2021 with a clear vision, you know, knowing your purpose so that way you won't get lost in all the huff and the bustle that comes with poetry, because it's very easy sometimes to get lost in the view, chasing the views, sometimes to get lost in chasing the applause and not and forget all about your why. So that's just a little background about this conversation that we're having right now on today. Thank you, ladies, for joining me. We just wrapped up a poetry workshop, and then we decided to just hop on live for you guys to get some of these gems too, because we're not selfish. We want everybody to get this knowledge. We want everybody to be successful, and we want everybody to go into 2021 knowing their purpose and knowing their why.
Yep.
Just a little bit of background about me. I'm Nicki D, the poet, a former shy girl who found her voice through poetry and now uses poetry to help others find their voice. So my why, the mission behind my poetry, is basically to be the person that I needed when I was younger. Very often times, I remember when I was younger, I was in the corner just hiding, thinking that my voice didn't matter or no one really cared what I had to say, or struggling just to find identity and find some purpose in every room that I'm in. And for my poetry, I want to speak to that girl or that boy, because some boys' mouths can be shy as well. Just to speak to them to let them know that, listen, I see you, I hear you, and just like me, you can find your voice. No, I'm a toss it to Bree. You want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. You can call me Bree Nix or BN, whatever you feel comfortable. I am an author, a poet, a speaker, and an educator who uses my journey of undoing to inspire others to peel back the layers of themselves to discover their purpose, their why, and who they are meant to be. I do that because, like all of us up here, I've faced many trials and tribulations throughout my lifetime that I was allowing to hold me back rather than push me forward. And so like Nikki, like Nettie, I want to reach out to all of those out there, whether it's women, men, definitely the youth, because I'm an educator too. That's in my heart. So always the youth too, to let them know that whatever you're going through, you don't have to remain stagnant in that. And you don't always have to have negative connotations with the traumas that happen. There's always lessons and light and motivation that can be pulled from them, and I think that's a message that's important to convey. So,
Hmm. Nettie, want to kick in and introduce yourself?
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nettie Long Poetry. I'm a poetry artist. I have two albums. I am a survivor of childhood and domestic violence traumas, and I use poetry to speak to those who either have experienced trauma or is currently experiencing trauma. And if I can survive, you certainly most can. My
Hmm.
is designed to get the heart of a reach the heart of a person, and but using um, relatable emotions. Right, I'm an emotional writer, so I'd like to help people navigate their depression first, to recognize what
Hmm.
it looks like first. You know, as we don't really realize we are in a state of depression because you don't know the sign. And so help people navigate through those things, recognize what they are so that they can be a healthier them,
yeah,
and also be self accountable. Self,
Yeah, that part.
well, self accountable.
we put ourselves. I mean, I've put myself in many toxic situations, and always, I always felt like I took some form of accountability because I'm like, it's like I knew it, but I still went through it. You know what I mean? That type of thing. So that is some sort of accountability. But to really, really self evaluate, I don't think we do that enough in our culture at all. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter where from. I don't think we do enough self evaluating. If you do enough self
Mm-hmm.
evaluation, start to realize
Woo.
actually not only realize what your part is, right? That you don't leave opportunity for anybody else to have to judge you because you've already judged yourself. And so
Boom.
uh, there's that aspect of accountability, and sometimes you have to be in a position to want to be critiqued, right? And if you don't leave room for people to give you criticism, right? And it
Mm-hmm.
criticism to help you grow, then you'll never be in a position to actually hear and be able to cause change. So if you can't be teachable, you're not going to be able to be reachable.
Yeah.
Yes. Dropping
Yes.
quotes. Be
Yes.
teachable to be
No,
reachable.
right.
Yes.
You need to be teachable so you can be reachable.
Yes.
And I think the other thing is just creating a space to allow so much vulnerability because I'm healed now, right? And the importance of what I do right now is because I want I want to be able to be so vulnerable and so exposed that it commands change as people hear it. Does that
Yeah.
make
Mm-hmm.
and so
Yeah.
that's my why. If I had an opportunity to change somebody with their outlook on things and allow, what's the word I want to use? Just allow the authenticity of
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
their real them, and they are actually searching within themselves, like, oh my God, you just touched on things that I had been suppressing, or you've just
Yeah.
touched on things that I didn't know how to put my finger on it or put a word to it, or uh,
Right.
when that has happened, I have done my job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's
Yes.
It's crazy you say that because those are the moments when, like, as an artist, as a poet, as a speaker, you really start to gleam in your work. Like when someone
Yes.
comes up to you was like, "You just spoke my life. How'd you know my life?" It's like, "Cause
Mm-hmm.
baby, we in this together and we've been there together. You're not alone in this." When you get to
right.
make these genuine connections, or when meet someone randomly and come across them randomly and end up saying a poem, and they looking at you like, so you were just hiding this randomly. It's like, yeah, like those are the moments, those random interactions that we don't even know are going to happen. And even the ones that, we performed a piece and someone come running up to us afterwards, those are the moments where we like, this is what we do it for. These are what the late nights and early mornings are for. These moments right here.
Right. Because me and Nettie were speaking earlier about just a little bit about branding and how sometimes we get in a mindset of trying to sell a product when people are not really looking for products, they're looking for an experience. As a poet, we're just so busy trying to promote ourselves to get that next booking or to sell this book, or I want people with my gear, and we're so focused on getting that or getting people to follow us that if we just be genuine and share our stories, focus on our why, that our audience is gonna naturally gravitate to us. And I say this a lot, and I know people gonna be like, she keeps saying this. I don't care. I'm gonna keep saying it because clearly people are not getting the message. So I'm gonna keep saying it until it seeps in that your audience will find you.
Yes,
Period.
yes,
I'm a testament to that
yes.
because there've been so many times where I think people are not listening. Like I think my marketing is sucking. Even like just this week, right? I'm gonna tell this story because I love telling this story. I was at work, right, and I work in the healthcare, so I'm talking to patients all day. So I'm at work doing my job, and one of the patients has my video playing in the background.
Yes.
So I'm like, I might
crazy.
pause. Like I might pause. What are you?
Like,
Who are you listening to? Oh, this poet Nicki D. I just filmed her, and I'm like, oh yes, I love her. Her work is so dope. But I'm just saying that. I'm just saying that to say, like, you never know. Like, your audience will find you. And when they find you, they want you to be authentic. They don't want you to be like, um, they don't want you to be basically just trying to go with the crowd because, oh, I'm gonna write a piece, like, I'm gonna write a man bashing piece because I know everybody's gonna repost that. I know that's gonna give me the most love. Like, but you in this healthy, happy relationship. So how you writing a man bashing piece? You can't even.
you don't relate to that. Like,
You can't even relate to that right no more.
no more. It's not even extenuating through the piece. It's so crazy you say that because I just had a conversation with Sheen. If y'all don't, Sheen Anthony, another great poet. And we were talking about knowing the audience that's right for you. Because I'm going to just be transparent. We did an event together and we realized that that was not the audience for us. Like, and because I went up there, I did my pieces, I try to be, but I get up there and they were looking at me like I had just read the dictionary to them. And I was just like, oh, this wasn't okay. And then he got up, same thing happened. My homie Will got up. If y'all know Chill Will got up, the same thing happened. And we was like, oh, this is not. But then by the time we got to the person who they came to see and we saw what it was they presented and how the audience was feeling that, we was like, oh, this is not our audience.
And that raises a good point. Like, every opportunity is not the opportunity for you.
Yeah.
And like, as poets, we have first of all, we have to be not so thirsty to get on these flyers, not thirsty to get on these events when we know it's not right for our brand. Like, as soon as somebody hop in your, like, slide in your DMs, because I was like that. I was like, oh yes. I want my face here, and I want to post all my events because I want people to see that I'm booked and busy.
Right.
But I'm booked and busy, but for what? And then another thing is, like, I wanted all these viewers, but all these followers does not equal a fan base, because you could have all these followers, but if they're not interacting with you, they're just wasted there. Like, you could have 1 million followers, but when you post something, you get like 500 likes. Like, why do you have all these followers and they're not interacting with you? Because clearly that's not your audience. Because I know a lot of people be doing this follow for follow. I don't want to do no follow for follow because I want to
follow you back.
Exactly. I want people on my page that's going to interact with me, that's going to interact with my brand. And then that's what people like. That's what these big brands is. If you're not on Clubhouse, again, this is a plug to get on Clubhouse because they've been dropping some gems. Like, this is what, like, big brands, if you're going for like big sponsorships, this is what they're looking for. They're looking for the interaction, not just a bunch of numbers up there.
Yeah. And that's why I always try to do stuff like when I do post, always try to like encourage a conversation. That's why I started doing my lives every Tuesday, because the conversation behind it, and those aren't even poetry related lives. Like, I say a piece at the end of it because I can't show face and not do a poem. But
right.
but it's not even like poetry based conversation. It's conversation on whatever the topic may be that week. But that's what they want to see from you too as a poet. They want to see that they can have a conversation with you and that you're not just spitting the words that you're spitting because you just wrote a piece because it was going with the flow. That is from my heart. That's what I always tell people, like, about my book. And I'll share with you, Nicki, like, when my book first dropped, I was not pushing because I didn't want to come off as salesy, because I didn't want to sell. Like, I wanted to connect. I put out to connect with people. And so it's sometimes so hard to find that line as an artist, definitely a poet, of, listen, well, hold on now, don't get it messed up. I do got the book, I do got the merch, you do got to pay for me to perform, you do got to do all this good jazz and all that, but also put that to the side. Connect with me first. Don't be doing that. Don't ask me to come out to your event because I might bring a crowd with me, or I might bring people with me. But then at the end of the day, we don't connect for real. What my people want and what my movement is not simultaneous.
Yeah.
What you want and what your movement is, and those are the things that you, as a poet, we got to learn to decipher. Like, not just a poet, but for any artist out there, for real. Rather you could play the triangle for real. You still got to connect with somebody who wants that work truly from you.
Exactly. I think I do, because I've been burned maybe once. And it's not a good feeling when you're in a space that's not geared towards your audience. And so it's one of those things with me. I learned once and I don't need to go through that again. So I try to get as much information before I even commit to anything, because my poetry isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
And it has its space, and
Yeah.
it's also, if it's somebody's birthday bash, you don't want me coming in there
Well, I want you to know
consecration and bringing the whole place down. Like, no, I just wouldn't do it. And so I
Yeah.
love always trying to find out, well, what's the theme?
Yeah.
A lot of people who want to book me, what's the theme? I need to
Mhm.
know if this is a space for me, because at the end of the day, it's my confidence that I'm
Right.
putting on the line.
Right.
Right. Right.
Right.
'Cause after that experience, I was shook. It.
Right,
I was like, now I know I bought it. Like I know I might have stumbled over some few words, but I know I delivered it. And and then I went back and watched the footage and was like, oh, I delivered. It was not what the
She was
hell?
like, "Oh, it wasn't me
It wasn't
at
me.
all.
It wasn't me and my
It's
friends.
not me."
Did our part, okay? We did what we came to do.
right.
And it's crazy because it really goes back to what you said, Nettie, of having to do that research. Because all I saw was an event called Author and Poets and was like, oh, I'm an author and I'm a poet. This would
Makes
work.
sense, right?
But then I didn't do the background on a person. If I would have just scrolled down the person hosting the page a little bit more, it
Yeah,
would have came to fruition. Like,
yeah,
I'm not that
for
kind of
sure.
poet.
But I feel like those teachable moments are very important, though.
Yeah,
And that's again going back to the topic of this conversation. That's why it's important to know your why, because some people may look at that, oh, that was a sign that I'm not supposed to do this. No, it's a sign that you need to focus on your why
Ooh,
and make
it's
sure
a
that
sign.
your why is in line. And like, I feel like, I don't know. Now I've been on this whole thing, like everything has to be purposeful. If it's not helping me, if it's not towards my purpose, like why am I doing it?
correct.
And
Yeah.
speaking of why, I believe that every poet should have a poem about their why. So I can break the ice because I know nobody want to be the first poet to go. So
Ever.
I want to break the ice, and I'm gonna spit my piece, basically saying my why, and I'm gonna kick y'all off my stage because I like having the stage to myself. So if you know me, you know I love blending into the crowds. Shadow child, never doing anything too risky or too wild. I was the type that always colored inside the lies. I love to play it safe, but deep down inside, there was always this part of me that was trying to escape. But I tried to bury her. Under religious expectations, I tried to bury her. Under societal obligations, I tried to bury her because I was afraid that the world wasn't ready to see what was deep down inside of me. I had to keep this beast under lock and key. Little did I know a pen was a key. Because with each stroke of the pen, each drop of ink, she came seeping out. A pen was the key that unlocked the gate and let this beast out. And out she came with so much power and authority she could not be contained. And little did I know that Nicki D would be her name and she was a poet. And the world would be forever changed by her pen. She was a poet because she discovered her voice and her message deep down within. She was a poet for more complex than the roses being red and the violets being blue. For what is a poet if they don't challenge the inner demons in you? What is a poem? If you hear it, you remain the same. And what was the point of you giving me 3 minutes if your world would not be forever changed? And that is my piece for my why. Let me add the ladies back in. Stream, y'all ads really doing this?
Yeah, they're doing it, girl.
Ooh, ooh. Oh.
Mm-mm. That's robotic.
Listen, I keep trying to. There we
Hold up, you
go.
guys. I think I lost you guys. Here you go.
Yes,
Y'all
yes.
back. Y'all back.
Back
Mm-mm.
in the building. Oh, I can't hear you, Nick.
Sounds robotic for me.
Hello.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I'm gonna exit and come back in. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's my little spiel about my why, because I know me as a me myself, and I think Bree, you can contest that, is you've been in a lot of rooms, even in person or virtual now due to COVID, that
Right.
before artists will go, and then you feel like you want those 3 minutes back because you're not really sure what's going on. Not to play, everybody has their art form, not to, to bash anybody in their art form, but you're not really sure like what you got out of it.
And I
And it
get
could
something
just
out of
be
everything I do.
it could just be me, because even when I'm listening to music, I'm like, I'm not looking for bars. Well, I am looking for bars, but I'm not just looking for a hot beat. I'm not just looking. Yeah, it has to be a deeper message. Like, what am I getting from this? Like,
You know what's crazy? And people probably gonna light me up when I say this because I said it in an interview the other day.
ambition, it's true.
Yes,
What did you just say? Like, it
yes, hold
sounded hot,
on.
but like, I'm not really sure.
The
I want
words
those. I need
didn't
those 3 minutes back. Like,
with what I needed today. Like,
yes.
with did your words manifest with what I needed? Like,
Exactly.
and
And
that's
but I don't want anybody after they hear Nicki D, I don't want them to ever feel that way.
and let me tell you something. If ever there is a time where you hear me and you feel that way, please come let me know. Let me know. Let me know
Same,
where I
sis. Like,
performed. Let me know what piece I performed that made you feel like what was
I
the
wanted my
point?
time back.
Because
We reclaiming our time. Like,
I reclaim my time.
yes, reclaiming my time,
yes.
reclaiming my
Yeah,
time, and
that's
that's
true.
important.
And Bishop
Clearly,
said
it's
the writers
true.
have to work on their clarity. That
Yeah,
is true. And I think sometimes that writers be trying to have the most hottest bars, be trying to load it with so much complex language that the theory goes be over your head. And you like, what did you just say? I'm like, first of all, you trying to use big words, but you're using them out of context.
listen. You don't even okay. Ti out here using big words, but don't really know what it is that they mean. And like I had that moment the other day where like sometimes when I go through my pieces and I have to look back through and make sure that I'm not trying to drown my pieces in similes and metaphors that don't make sense to the whole world. Like, cause some of the stuff that
Mhm.
I put, it'd be like you got to be in my head to understand. I'm gonna just go ahead and delete and backspace. The good folk ain't going grab that one, but that's the
Yeah.
point of that's as a writer going back in, knowing your audience, knowing the message that you're trying to convey in your pieces, and knowing who you're trying to reach when you're doing that. So that's
Yes.
also important when thinking about the writers and making sure you have clarity. So.
Yeah.
All right. So who want to go next?
Go, Nikki. No, well,
Go, Nikki.
I'm like,
Bree.
Nettie.
Sorry.
I'm about to say, if y'all want me to go again, I got pieces for days. I could be up here a whole 2 hours, do a whole set, you
okay,
know,
a whole set for
a
real.
whole set. Like,
Um,
Yeah.
So I mean, I'll go, and I'll let us in with the shebang of Nettie. But I'll go ahead and I'm going to get into this piece called "Girl Next Door." It definitely taps into my why as an artist and my purpose as a poet because, well, listen to it. Meet the girl that's not so next door, who bears emotion on her face, hearts on her sleeve, chaos in her space. But yielding to peace, I accept me. When my passion mistaken for anger, as I fight for you to understand, this is where I'm meant to be. This is who you are meant to see. Squeezing between swivel chairs at the table to stand because I see them plotting to pull the chair from beneath me. Here I stand, not the girl from next door, urging you to open your ears as I force this understanding upon you. Riding the float you say is the everyday woman is no parade for me. I'd rather do what it is I please because that will create the timeline of my history where you see me struggle in the couchless apartment eating oodles and noodles and chopped hot dogs on any given weekday, partying every weekend, spending my peak home money in the neighborhood strip club. Oh girl, was I living and gratefully learning. That is the story of me, numbing the pain of the world to feel the joy within me. I sacrificed myself for the greater being in me. Continuous whispers of, you won't be here forever. It will all pay off soon. Unsure if it truly would. Unusual awakenings beginning to happen as finally I awake and realize that I am she. The nonstop nurturing held on to through all the years woke me up to remind me of Bree. Working hard to the bone, soaring through hurdles thrown my way, I began my journey to go and stand at the table. The tables that turned in and out of my favor, the same table that arrested me as I defended myself against the man next door, was the same table that taught me to remove myself from hindering situations. The same table that allowed me to graduate with a low GPA, allowed me to receive honors in college. The same table that caused me to witness domestic violence, nurtured me through my battle with controlling my own violence within and against the streets. The same table that gave me a glimpse of what motherhood possibly could be motivated me to take care of my body. It does not matter what we have been through, for it is what makes our story so remarkable. The defeats of battle set out to demolish what we were meant to achieve, only causing us to become stronger. Even the simple aspects of me are considered what the everyday woman should be, with unkempt locks smothering my scalp, legs that may prick you if you rub them on the wrong day, and a boisterous laugh that could crumble Lincoln Financial Field, a shape with more curves and creases than a worn out ballet shoe. Not to mention, I enjoy a casual episode of Nora 2 with a chill glass of wine. It's sometimes unforeseen that I love to play in my new makeup set from Ipsy, the occasional Brazilian to set free the lady deep within, hosting cliche girls' nights with facials, mani-pedis, and the latest celebrity gossip. What is the definition of the American woman, the everyday woman? As a woman containing the ingredients within me, I am seen as angry, unintelligent, miserable, hopeless, and weak, incapable, and ugly. As a woman containing my ingredients, I am seen as patient, persevering, strong, bright, and beautifully written. You are an everyday woman because all you have to be is woman every day. Doesn't matter if it be physically, mentally, emotionally. No, it does not, because at the end of it, we are she.
Oh,
And that is
I never heard that before.
What?
I
Really?
didn't hear that. I never. That is my first time
Harsh.
hearing that piece. I'm like, first of all, you got me with the SC because I just was playing with some makeup from there earlier. I was telling Nettie, I was so excited. I'm like, yes, I can't wait to do my makeup. I got all this new makeup.
First of all, the Ipsy set, be real, okay? When you
Yes,
get
they be coming in the clutch though.
listen, as soon as you be like, dang, I'm about to go buy some more makeup because I'm running low. I've been doing the same look. And then they hit you with the box and be like, oh, you knew. You felt
Yo,
that
they
I
had some eyeliner in this set. I'm like, yo, this eyeliner is bomb. Like,
stuff too. You might have to show me. Let me see what you got. Let me see what you got. Okay. I just love that piece because the reason why it relates, I think, so much to my why is because it tells you the story of the imperfections that I went through and how all the imperfections that I went through faced me with all types of judgments from a literal judge and from the people around me, and how I was judged because one minute I went from Tom girl to wanting to be dressed up in makeup. How there was a period in my life where I had no kind of financial stability. I was blowing my money because I wanted to look good. I wanted to be the one that, she get money. I wanted to give off that, that presence. And I went through all those phases. I went through all those stages of not knowing yourself, not knowing your truth, not, knowing where you're meant to be. And going through that, it got me exactly where I needed to be, exactly who I needed to stand in, and identify that I am a grown ass woman who is out here doing her thing and being the best be that she can be, and continuing to learn and move forward so that she can continue to elevate and reach her peak. So, and why is, of course, preaching that to everyone out there who hears my story and shares those stories. So
you said something so important, and it was about your scars in your past. And I think it's so important because we see we were just talking about makeup.
Mhm.
So we're put in a society where they want us to hide our flaws. We're put in a society where it's okay and we don't want to talk about our past. We want to brush that to the side. But when you think about summer, right? You
Mhm.
think about cookout season, right? And you think
Mhm.
about a grilled hot dog. You do not want a hot dog that don't have those little grill lines. You don't want a hot dog that hasn't been through some things. You don't like because it's the darkness, it's the scars that make it attractive, and we're so busy trying to hide behind our past, trying to brush over our mistakes, trying to tell the good of the story when it's the ugliness of our past that's going to be the experience that's going to connect to that person. To connect to that is we're like looking for the piece that's going to connect to the audience, because when you're performing, you want to have that connection. And the reason why some of us are not giving that connection because we're not writing deep enough. We're not writing deep enough because we're scared to face our demons, and we keep saying every year 2021 is gonna be my year. But how is, and I keep saying this and people gonna get tired of it, and I do not care if I sound like a broken record, but 2021 is still going to be like 2020 if you do not put the work in. Like,
Period.
what are you going
Period.
to do? And people want you to be real. They
Yeah.
don't want a surface poet. Like, a
Exactly.
surface poet does nothing. A surface poet, you're going to be popular 1 minute, and then the next minute you're not going to have no views. If you're a surface poet, if you don't know your why, if you're chasing the views, if you're chasing the popularity, if you're chasing the applause, when the applause is gone, you're going to be gone. And
Exactly.
then you're going to be, your mindset is going to be messed up. But if you're focused on your why, if you're being real with the people, if you're telling them, hey, I did this was my mistake, but this is how I came out. I went through this, but then if I went through it, then you could come in it, you could go through it as well. This is the experience, and we're selling experience here. I'm not selling
Exactly.
books. I'm not, it's deeper than my books, it's deeper than my t-shirt, it's deeper than trying to sell out an event. Is the experience. That's why I told Nettie I'm gonna change my name to Nicki the Experience. Period.
Okay.
Love it.
Nicki the,
Experience.
because
I
that's what you're getting.
Okay. It's a whole vibe. It's a whole
It's the
experience.
vibe.
love.
Okay.
Nettie, you're on deck. You're up next.
So, okay. Stop laughing at me, Nix. So yeah, my whys. We just wrapped up the poetry boot camp and decided to do this stream yard, and I had did the piece of depression, but we were just talking about hiding our flaws and speaking about the different stages of depression, and this piece kind of came to mind that I'd rather do instead. It's called Infinity Wars, and it's kind of like the the it talks about um my talks about traumas, but it also talks about how I had to compartmentalize my different emotions that went along with depression. And here's this piece. It calls Infinity Wars. I am a victim of molestation, and not once but twice in my childhood life. And it wasn't just twice in my life, but it was by two selfish people, one of which was a continual, perpetual cycle. It was as if they saw me as weak because I didn't speak out about the horrors that were being done to me. And most times I go days where life is just a complete blur and I don't know what day or time it is. It's like I'm stuck in that sunken place and I want to get out. So I become desensitized to all the world. As I lay on my left side, I prefer my backside exposed because I don't want to come face to face with the reality of being stripped from my innocence. And even though I was a child and I thought like a child, but I couldn't put childish things away because of this yoke around my neck and this bondage that bound my thoughts and this lie that dropped my confidence level towards defeat. So I just laid there waiting to be devoured by an evil depression. To describe it, it would be an understatement trying to explain its true form. Never going to therapy seemed to bring its own never ending pestilence and slavery to the very thing I couldn't utter out loud for help because it was just sort of swept under the rug, so to speak. And I held my parents responsible for me. And now, but now that I'm an adult, I have to compartmentalize all these different emotions as they come in different forums. Yet, one must wonder how a person gets bitten by the multiple personality bug. Oh, because it's easy to be somewhere else. It's easy to become somewhere else in your mind while unspeakable acts are being done to your body and mind. And how this affects a person long term when it finally sinks in, that's when the true journey begins. Infinity Wars. And so I decided to write that piece. Um, and the reason why I called it Infinity Wars was simply that is that it's something that you will forever have to have to address. We're human beings, right? And so we deal with how we deal with things is through our emotions, and depression is something that's always lurking to attach. And so that's why I called it Infinity Wars, because it's forever going to you're forever going to come in contact with it, and it's how you deal with it is truly the key.
Yes.
Seriously, that's real rap.
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes think that when they go through things and they face challenges in life that they're going to have this one quick fix and they're going to be good again,
Right.
realize, not realizing that life don't ever stop lifing. Life
And that,
don't ever stop
Right.
happening. So we
and
have to equip ourselves with the information and the encouragement and possibilities to navigate through
right.
each trial, each hurdle that we're going to face, because we're going to face it. We just got to get ourselves in a mental place to know that, listen, it's here, it's happening. Now
Right.
how we have to get through this.
And know that there's
Yeah.
different, because the enemy comes at us all different levels. Like when we pass one level, boom, there's another level for us to face. And then like when, my best friend said it best. When are you ever going to catch a break? Never.
Mhm.
Never, because I'm his chosen, right? And I'm always going to be dealing with something. But
Mhm.
that's why when we when I connect with the Lord, it's his burden is light, his yoke. You know what I mean? So I have to realize
Mhm.
that, by myself on my own strength, absolutely. I can't even equate to what God's yoke is like, which is light.
Yeah.
And I have to know that I win every time when my
That
mind
part.
We have to carry him within us when we move. We have to realize that he literally has embedded all his strengths, his wisdom, what
right.
he has to offer. We're his children, which means we're a product of him, which means
Hey,
Mhm.
we carry him in us, which
hey,
means we have the possibility, the strength, the faith, the power to get through and navigate whatever he's putting on us. Listen, I think it was Nicki who posted the other day. He never said no weapons would form. He
right,
said
right.
it
He just
wouldn't
said that we're
prosper.
supposed to prosper. Come on.
Okay, listen.
I'm
Wake
sorry. I just
up.
got excited. Like,
Yes,
okay.
I'm glad
I
you
grew up
did,
in,
because that was
in a
word for
Pentecostal
me.
church, so sometimes I just have these little outbursts. So you gotta forgive me
Have
sometimes.
your outbursts, because that was a word, and that was something that really
That
resonated with me. He never said that the weapons wouldn't form. He said they wouldn't prosper, which means, for real, not only he gave us a hint, he let you know and gave you that heads up. It's gonna come your way.
Right.
But you're gonna win as long as you're guiding yourself to win, as long as you're listening and
Right.
paying attention to all the resources and knowledge I have bestowed upon you so that you can win
yeah.
those battles. Because you gotta win the battle so we can conquer the war.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
But I think
saying?
the problem is that we're so like our vision is so limited to what we can see. And I said this the other day when I was talking I said this the other day. Hold on, I'm trying to send Ambition the link because he's gonna come and chat it up with us real quick.
Mhm.
Um,
We also
so
need
that's
to
why I'm
remember.
getting distracted. But I said this the other day when I was speaking to Mar, that where our vision is so limited, that we sometimes get so stuck in what we can't see. But a lot of people I know, like Bree got on glasses right now. Like a lot of people I know, they need glasses or they need contacts in order just to see what's going on every day. So if we
Yeah.
need contacts just to see what's going on every day, and we need something that man made to just see what's going on every day, how do we expect to see everything in the spiritual realm? Like it doesn't make sense.
That's a word. How do we expect
Like
to have the visual capacity for all that? Shucks, there's things that's around us right now that we can't even see with the naked eye.
exactly.
Yet we trust it.
We trust it,
Like
and we
I'm
have
trusting this
faith
chair.
in it.
Like I'm trusting this chair that I'm sitting on right now. I got faith and trust in this chair not to break and for me not to fall and bust my behind on live and y'all laugh at me. Like I can't. I don't know. I wasn't there when they made this chairs, and I know sometimes I be putting stuff together and it don't be all that stable.
Listen,
But I have the faith in that. But we have the faith in that. But we don't have faith that God gave us a mission and God gave us an audience, and we're going to be able to. And we're put here for a reason, and that we don't have faith that our audience is going to find us because so much time we spend so much time trying to find an audience, and most of our time is spent trying to find an audience that we skip over the people that's right here. We skip over our true audience.
exactly. Trying to connect with a bigger audience or an audience that isn't even meant for us or doesn't even care for our work or is just trying to leech off of what we have to offer. That's why you gotta
Yeah.
take grace and take pride and be grateful and give thanks for what we are given and what we are handed to in order to use as stepping stools and move forward in ourselves and just really have that belief like we are here for a purpose beyond us. Like I refuse, like I tell people all the time, and this is where I might sound like a broken record, but I refuse to believe that I went through all the things that I went through for nothing. I
Right.
refuse to believe that I faced
That
all
part.
those hardships to not make a difference from them at the end of the day, like to just be miserable and sulk and all that pain. Like my creator wouldn't put me here for that.
He said, I know the plans that I have for you, plans that are good, plans to prosper. So even and the Bible said, for we know that all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord, the good for them that were called according to his purpose. He said all things, and you don't use the word all if you do not have anything to back it up. All means every single thing that you could go through, that we don't know that we're going to go through, that my son is going to go through, that his son is going to go through, that his son is going to go through. All of those things is going to work together for the good, not just if we can see the good, because the time we are so focused on what we can see, we're so focused on tangible things. And I was having this
Yes,
conversation with Ambition yesterday, that I feel like people are so focused on seeing something in the tangible realm that we don't even know what is happening in the spiritual realm.
Right.
But
And
and then if God gave us that vision, it would be too broad. We would just be in a state of awe that we would
exactly.
go
We wouldn't
dumb
even know
because
how
we
to
can't
handle
comprehend.
that vision. We wouldn't even know
Yes.
how to perceive it. Our bodies wouldn't even know how to digest it. It would just there's so much happening beyond us
Mm-hmm.
that you can't put your finger on it. But when you start to truly believe in it and feel that faith within, when you start to feel that faith within and feel like not only is it walking by you, but it's walking within you, that's when you can start to unleash those visuals in the world that we don't immediately see. That's when all those tangible things, how you doing? All those tangible things start to go out the window and you start to realize how insignificant
yeah,
they are to our purpose and moving forward and sending into our best self. They become so tangible
yeah.
and easy to put down. As easy as it was to pick up, it was as easy to put down. You can't do that with spirituality. Spirituality and faith is not something you pick up, you put down, you pick up, you pick down. It's because it's intangible. You got to feel that inside. It got to be embedded
The
into who
problem is
you
you
are.
can pick it up and put down because you're too focused on religion. And I don't even know how this poetry conversation got here, but whatever. We're here now. But I feel like
Listen,
people are too focused on religion. And again, people are too focused on religion. They're too focused on a practice that they don't get the deeper message.
they don't
And
understand.
let's welcome Ambition. We have a poet, the GOAT, in the building. He wanted to come and chop it up with us. What's up?
Your old head.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, I just was I saw y'all online, I wanted to hop in and just help with the conversation, and add my 2 cents. But it seemed like I got in on something that we was gonna be talking about anyway in the future.
Yeah, they try to step all over our live, but it's fine.
Oops.
So what was the point? What was the point that was made on the religion versus art talk? Is that where we are right now in the conversation?
Well, it wasn't like the religion versus art talk. So we were basically talking about faith and talking about how people are so busy focusing on the things that they can see that they don't realize is another realm that of things happening like in a spiritual realm that they can't see and they can't fathom, and how we go through these traumas and we go through the past, but we don't know that our traumas and our past and all the scars is actually setting us up for something
Right.
good to happen in the future.
Absolutely. So I had nothing to add to that. If you already just said that, then that was one of my main
No,
points.
you can answer. You can add your 2 cents wherever you want to take the conversation. The floor is yours.
No, I just was listening to you guys and talking about the being authentic earlier, and I like what Bree was saying about the being authentic and just being the real you and just continuously being that. That's also like in front of your family and people who really do know you.
Yeah.
That's what a real fight is. The strangers, whatever, but it's the family members, like you said, that are now like, oh, you changed or you were different. I can no longer. Me and Nicki had a conversation where family members will try to do things to see if you are in a new place because the old you would do something different.
Oh, you
So
better talk about
we
it.
we have to be mindful that our family still looks at us like the young Nick, the young Nettie, the young Bree, the young Brian. I'm not that guy no more. And so the family is still going to try to give you these problems and say things because they know the old you would do certain things. But now as a brand, as a business, you can't participate in those things anymore.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the biggest things I learned this year too, is that I really would like to go out with you, bro. I love having fun with you a couple years ago and last year, but you know what? Because of my brand, I get caught in here with the wrong crowd. No. And so you have to be careful down to your business. Me and Nicki talk about this too. Down to your business about who you take pictures with. You can't, like, there's certain people you probably shouldn't even be in photos with, because your brand is going here and their life is going over here. And you want to be mindful of your picture taking. You want to be mindful of where you actually put yourself at, going forward. And that's how serious you should be taking your brand and your poetry. And I heard somebody talk about the art room too. Like you said, every platform is not yours. Nicki will tell you I got caught up. I ain't read the flyer right.
Listen.
That joint was like,
We all have
what was it, Nicki? That joint was
You just when I
smoking
seen you on the
something.
flyer, I was like, what did
He
he
was like,
know? I don't
wait,
think he
you gotta-
knew that his face was on this flyer with
Yeah.
that.
And it was smoking weed or something. And I was like, oh, I made a mistake and didn't understand the smoking part. I thought it was like a smoking mic. And they was like, no, we smoking at the mic.
Right. You gotta walk up to this mic with ganja in you.
Right.
Wow.
Like you getting contact high.
I
That's
think
how
I
much
would've
weed
just
is
died.
being smoked.
Listen, oh my gosh. Listen, that's why reading the lines and doing the research is definitely essential because listen, lessons learned. I learned that lesson recently and I'm grateful that I did. And that I took the time out to experience it because to me, whenever I'm on a stage, it never ends negatively anyway, because that's just my home anyway. But definitely will, you know what? Let me sit out next time I see this flyer. I'm gonna sit out. I'm gonna mind my business, and I'm gonna stick to the, don't go chasing waterfalls.
Don't go chasing applause. That's what they should say.
That you used to. Okay, listen. You got to preach on that one next, Ambition? Okay. You got to.
Oh yes, hip hop.
Talking about the hip hop preaching.
Yeah, the hip hop preaching. You got to preach.
I gotta get into because sometimes we get, or we not understanding the people we're associating ourselves with, and like you said, every poet room is not for you. And me and Nick was at this open mic, and that John was super depressed. It was
Bree was there. Bree performed at that open mic that we was at.
She was there.
She was there.
I'm not gonna say the brand. We can't say the brand here, but
no, we can't say the brand.
It was six. What was that, 6 in race or something in race? What was
there.
It was there.
It was around this time last year too.
And
it was back to back. The bars was crazy.
Sad. Oh my God.
Their open mics be heavy to the point where I told Nick, I don't feel comfortable here. Like, the spirit of the poets were so dark. I could feel it.
Can I tell you?
Nettie, I know Nettie could tell you about, like, when you take your religion serious, and I'm not the best Christian, but I do know when I feel a presence that I don't belong in, I'm like, yo, you know what? I gotta get out of here. And it was bad.
He was like, you ready to go? I'm like, well, we gotta go.
Like, no, and it get like that when you feel like, a part of me felt like, because I hit that stage too, and a part of me feel like I didn't excel because my stuff wasn't dark enough. I feel like it wasn't sad enough. And I was like, listen, I got some sad pieces, but all my sad pieces start sad and end up lifting. I can't stay there. I got to show the people that I got past those parts. So that's why I'm like, I love your art and appreciate that you could put that on page and had the courage and was bold enough to get up and recite that. But you just learned that ain't.
Yeah. I was like, that's not, I'm not here to, and I don't do hours of that. You know what I mean? I don't, if a poetry mic is like that, I get right out. You know what I mean? Nicki was in the room yesterday. They was broadcasting, and when I first got in there, I ain't gonna say the room, but when I first got in there, I went in and the boy was like, suicide or something, and I just was like, I wanted to hear poetry and understand the therapy side of that particular room. I just was not in the mood for that type of, as poets, we write with darkness. Yeah. So you got to make sure you are protective of your energy.
Yeah.
And you can ask the host too. It's okay to ask the host as you get more and more in this art. How is this open mic energy going to be? Because I'm really protective of my energy, and I have some traumas that my therapists and coaches said that I can't keep getting triggered intentionally, right? Like, you can't intentionally, trigger your trauma by going to open. You're not supposed to do that. And so if that's the case, you have to be protective of your energy when it comes to those open mics.
And even in that room yesterday, they were talking about, because there was a therapist that was there, and she was talking about people being so addicted to trauma. And like, if you don't have any trauma, or you can't heal from that trauma, because then you don't have anything to write about. So that's another thing. Like, you don't
the guy, he called it out. He was like, some of us, he felt that way. He was like, I couldn't write without the trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is a bad thing for poets, and you got to be careful with slamming, because slamming it has this element of the darkest, deepest, pull out of your darkest memory will move the people to win, but you're prostituting memories that you really aren't supposed to. Your therapist and your doctors will tell you you are supposed to be talking about that in the triumph way, If you're prostituting it on the stage to win slams, you have to relive that when you gurgitate that, right? And so your whole body, your mind and soul has to be into that piece. And when that happens, that's why it comes off that way, and you have to keep feeding that to win. So
Mm-hmm.
That's why what I said to you the other day, Nikki. I am not a slammer. I'm not a slammer. I learned that because that's how I felt in that room where that was a slam. And I said, I feel like I have to talk about my most darkest, deepest moments in order for to get the reaction or the movement of the crowd that I want in this space. And I wasn't willing to do that. Definitely went to when I went to open mic a month later, where I was able to speak about the lighter parts of myself and working triumphantly through those problems, and got a bigger reaction than I did at the initial at the preview. Not everyone wants to hear those, the darkness. They want to hear the light that coincides with it. And that's why, to bring it back full circle, like I like to do, it's important to know your why and your purpose and why you're doing the things you do. Are you looking to prostitute your trauma so that you can win money and win slams and get all that accredited fame that you're looking for? Or are you looking to use your pains as an uplifting message for the world out there who thinks that they're going through this alone?
Well, at the end of the day, it's all temporary, right?
That's why I was about to say, like, are you in here just to be like an open mic? Because I feel like every one of us right now can pick an open mic to go to, and we would like smash it. But at the end of the day, you smash the open mic. But then, what does that really mean?
Right.
When the Zoom is over, when everybody goes back home or whatever, what does that really mean if you didn't really bring anything? If there was no type of experience connected, it doesn't mean anything. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I'm not about to be here. I'm not here to be a queen of an open mic. Like, I'm in here for the long road. I'm a whole. Like I told you, I'm a brand. I'm an experience. I'm a whole experience. This is the Nicki D experience, okay? So I'm not about to be in here to dominate open mics. That's why at some open mics, I'm like, I see the people that's on the flyer. I'm not about to go in there because I already know what I can do. Like, I've been sick with the pen since the age of 10. Like, nobody really can tell me anything for real. Not on no cocky stuff, but I know what I can do. I know what I'm capable of. So I don't have to really prove any. I'm at this point. This is like going in year 2. I don't have to prove what I can do at an open mic.
Yeah.
Now is more purpose. I'm making purposeful moves
to deliver
with my brand.
To deliver your message, deliver your brand, and deliver your experience. And that's that transition. That's that growth as a poet. That's that growth as an artist, because a lot of people don't realize that. I'm not going to lie and sit up here and act like when I first started performing, I wanted to walk into every open mic I did and leave the room shooketh. I had to leave the room shooketh. And if I felt like I didn't do that, I beat myself up. And then I got to the point where I was like, wait a minute. Do you know what you're doing? Do you believe in what you're doing and the message you're conveying and that it's being received? And don't none of that else matter. First of all, one thing that people should learn is people see when you carry that light. People see when that's any energy you carry. So just from them seeing that energy alone, they're going to appreciate your presence in any room that you're in. Any room that you walk into, that you're going to be appreciated. And you don't always have to have that goal of put the crown on my head when I walk out the door, because those are those tangible things that we look for. Those are those tangible feelings that we wish to gain when we're looking at it with the naked eye, when we're looking at the wrong things with the naked eye. But when we start to grow and realize the person and the brand and the experience that we're developing, we start to realize, you know what? People going to come to me for that anyway. People going to experience that with me anyway, because they know what I'm about, because they see what I do. They see how ill I am. I literally just said this to a text to somebody, was just, I need to stop playing with my pen. I need to stop playing with my penmanship and realize what I can really do with it, because that's what was bringing people to me. That's why people always tagging me in posts, do this, do that, get this done, get that done, because people realize your capabilities. You just have to, open yourself up and open your mind up to realizing them too. Because once you do that,
right,
I feel like you're soaring from there,
Right. I have a question. So, what would you guys consider doing your job as a poet? Like, when you perform, what are you looking for to say, okay, I came into the room and I did my job?
I feel like I did my job when a person can um, take what I've said and can relate to it. Or if a person, and not just that, but it also helps them come, like, I'm real big as, okay, I touched you. I touched a person's heart, but is it going to command change? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because now that you've been touched, what do you need to get healed? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so if I help them, steer them into the right direction on getting that healing, embrace therapy, embrace your mental health, because that's the most important thing, then
Mm-hmm.
I've done my job. That's what I feel like.
And similar to Nicki, but a little different. I feel like I've completed my job when I can at least initiate the inspiration, when I can initiate someone wanting to make that change. When someone comes up to me and they might say something like, "Listen, I didn't realize I needed to make a change, but now I do. Thank you." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because from there, the follow-ups and the healing, that it'll begin
Yeah.
to happen. Because if not to toot my own horn, but usually when someone sees me once, they're gonna end up seeing me twice or sending me 3 times. And I feel like the healing and the community that I build and these kind of conversations, they'll become available to that person, and
Mm-hmm.
the wheels will start rolling. They'll see me and they might go, "Who? I need to make a change." Then they'll see Nettie and go, "Who? That's how I make the change." Then they might find Nicki and go, "Who? That's how it feel once I made the change." And once they see ambition, they're like, "Oh, that's how I keep it going." Okay, 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 okay. And it might just be a full circle. So as long as I can grasp someone to at least make that initiation, thank you. Thank you for letting me know I did something.
Seed planted. Got you.
Yeah, I think me. I do agree with one part is I know I did my job when I did a couple poems in New York at J Rose event, and then the one poet was like, "You're right," because I told the room, and it was crazy. Like, y'all know how I get in my little preaching mood. So I was like, there's an
Wow.
artist in the room. You're playing around with you're playing around with your art. You are not going deep enough. You're playing around. You're nervous that if you share that particular story of yourself, that you're not going to get popular. Somebody's going to make fun of you. But the problem is somebody in New York needs to hear
Mhm.
you. Somebody from New York needs to hear your story. I can't do it because I'm not from here. They need to hear a particular sound, a New York accent, a New York look with that particular story to reach them. And I did this poem. I go, and the girl was like, "I'm a foster kid too, and I never talked about it in my art."
Mhm.
And she was like, "I'm going to do it." And another lady was like, "Yo, I'm going to start writing deeper," because she did this fuckboy poem, and it was really good, and it was powerful. But she was like, "I don't write about me. I write, about everyone else." And I said, "Yep, you're running. That's cool. That happens." And so I like that when I do my thing. If I get that response from somebody, then that means I did my job. And then from now on, we go to open mics with intention. So I know how if I did my job, because I'm like, yo, I know I got a book. I tell Nicki, like, yo, you got a book coming out. We gonna hit 3 open mics in 1 week. And she be struggling getting home from work, trying to get to the open mic. I'm like, you get
Yo,
there?
it been plenty of times I'm changing for an open mic at my job. I'm doing my makeup at my desk in between calls. Like,
I'm
Hustle.
like, yo, did you get to that open mic? Nah. I'm like, yo, you gotta get to the next one. And so, like you said, you coming out with a book, you hitting the open mic scene hard. You need to meet somebody, a particular artist is being featured. Everything you do is like calculating more so as you get more into the game.
Yeah.
It's no longer like, oh, I'm just going because I'm bored for the night. Now you got to go there with a
Yeah.
purpose and make connections, take your pictures, take the picture with the host, look fly, and let people know you're out and about, and then get out of there. And that's the main important thing is just having more intention. So every time you step out the door, you got something on the agenda to complete.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
That's good. Similar. I guess I'm similar to Bree because I feel as though as long as I can plant that seed of change, then I'm good. Like as
Mm.
long as the seed is planted, because like I said, everything is purposeful, and I feel like everybody cross path for a reason.
Yeah.
And my reason may not be to like be that big one to what you come to change, but if I can just get that thought going,
Yeah.
then I feel like I did my job.
Yeah. Connection is real. Connection is so important. That's one of the biggest things that 2020 has taught me, which is ironic because this is the time where our connection has been seen
Socially distant.
socially distant, and but it's one of the biggest things that I've learned this year is that connecting with the right people and surrounding yourself with the right people will inspire you or will trigger something in you regardless of if you wanted to or you expected to. Like I never knew, low key, I probably remembered your face from that event in November. So when I came across you again in like January, February and saw you was having an event, it was like, oh, she looked familiar. I wonder how, you know what I'm saying? Those are little connections that was made that we didn't even realize were being made, that we didn't even realize were being implanted. You know, just for me to go ahead and see Nicki on that same live and go from there, just for me to end up on Art Love stage and Newports and News and then Mar and then for now look at us one big happily artist family and you know appreciating connection that's being made and like dropping gems. Shit. Listen, I was just listening to Ambition with the notebook. Like, all right, so let me listen. And I know he got this poetry little thing that he got going on where he gonna get you in tip top shape. I saw the flyer. I need to stop playing.
First of all, you need to stop playing
Here
because
we
I've been
go.
telling
Here
you
we
like
go.
3 months
Here
to
we
DM
go.
this
Turn my
man.
camera off now. Because I knew
Yeah,
it was
because I'm about to get you. Because before we at that comedy show at that dinner, I said
She
I want you
didn't
to
even want to talk
DM
to
him
me.
in a week, and you should have your
She didn't
poetry
even
drill
want to talk.
Can I
scheduled.
tell you why? I get nervous because we have been indulging in adult things throughout that night. And I didn't know how to I didn't want to present myself in a way that you ain't take me too serious because I was real goofy and laughy and you know
Yeah, I did.
red eyed. So
I was like, so this is sex.
I know
Yeah,
that
Nicki was like, yeah, she said she wanted to meet you.
I
I'm like,
know. And then you got
okay.
and I was like, it really is. You won't
What's up,
believe
Nettie
it.
and
Up.
Nicki?
You
Got
won't
choked up.
believe it. But I'm really shy. Like my shy girl
I
is
never
not
saw that.
on the.
So
I know. You would. People don't believe me, but it's like, hi, my name is Bria. You can call me Bree next. That's my stage name. We're going to formally introduce ourselves now. And that I will be reaching out to work with you in the near future. Give me until Sunday night and you will have heard from me. See, Nicki? Look, I did it. I did it.
all right, and this is streaming live, so everybody who's watching right now was gonna
That's
hold you
all.
accountable.
Like,
Everybody
I'm
who's watching the
gonna give an
replay
update. Like,
is gonna
I did
hold you
not reach
accountable.
out.
So when I pop on the live and be like, "Yo, Ambition, did you hear from Bree next?" And he be like, "No." I'm like, "Oh,
I didn't
let's play
know.
the clip."
Disrespect one of our names like that. I won't do it. You're going to hear from me. We're going to connect because first of all, I just seen the work that, you know, how Nicki has vouched for you, how Nettie has vouched for you, and how I tell people all the time. I just did an interview when someone asked me, who inspires you? I'm like, well, honestly, my homegirl Nicki, I love Nettie. They always deliver crazy. I love what they're doing. And so to connect with someone who I know has contributed to that, I'd be a fool not to, you know. So I'm gonna get myself.
Well, you can start by signing up for his poetry workshop
That's
that's
what I was just talking
free
about. I
in
saw that.
January.
I
And you
saw
know, J Rose is on there. Our girl J
Yeah,
Rose.
and that one is completely free. But that's more like an open mic starter kit and the
But we
host
going, I'll do
kind of already do
that.
that.
I'll connect with you personally and let you know what it is I'm trying to do and get
Okay.
into and what I would expect and what you would expect, and we can handle. Look, I'm really doing this in front of all the people, so I gotta stick to it. But I'll go.
Yeah, because if you ask Nicki, they'll tell you this is not, and you kind of advanced.
That's what I say. First of all,
You're kind of advanced, so that means it's about to be crazy for you. You're not a little.
hold on.
Do
So
it again.
I'm gonna need. That means I'm gonna need to go do a second round then.
Yeah, because the yeah, when you, but now that y'all here, now it's intense, and I bring in a couple people that's gonna be like, down to every single body language, your eyes, your hands, everything. Like it's now I've been studying more acting, and we are getting into the point where now we need to make sure that our theater side is just as good as our words.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to get into, a lot of breathing. We're getting into a lot of what your eyes are doing, what our hands is doing, what everything is doing down to your feet. So it's more of a intense on the whole package, everything you do. Because when you do your videos and when you're starting to do more and more videos with real camera work, it's serious, and everything is like acting, more acting, especially when you do your poetry videos that we need to see more from Nettie. But we'll get into that later.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to dip before he start calling me out.
I was like, this is why I said slowly. He don't play. He don't play.
Time out. I've been downloading them on my YouTube page. I might
Okay.
not be posting them, but I got quite a few up there. Yep.
All
And
right.
I feel like acting and the theatrical part of my poetry, I feel like that's my forte. Anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm naturally dramatic. Like I tell Nicki all the time, where I'm gonna need to work at for real is the memorizing part of my poetry.
Okay.
Because what happens is I write a new piece every day, so then I'm like, I gotta memorize each of these new pieces every day. Like this.
No, yeah, no, about four to five hits. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And you gotta have. I call it Nicki. Me and her call it the single. So the single
My
is the
single.
single. That would be Nettie's Infinity Wars more so, I think, right? That's more her hit. That's her shit.
Deep within.
Oh, that's your enough is enough.
About to say
Right?
that enough is enough. Yeah.
So we all have that that hit. That's your single, and then you should have a good strong five. But yeah, it's too many poems to remember. If they ain't that super fire, they go into the book. So guys, be careful right here on this screen, right? So when you have when you're studying your work, 5 hits, and then you have the rest are going into the book. And so I'm actually linking up with a guy named Kerwin from Philly. Really amazing when it comes to Black poetry. You know Kerwin Sutherland?
Yeah, I follow him. I met him at a poetry at an open mic I think earlier this year.
Yeah.
He's
been in the game for a minute in Philly, but he's a reader. But his reading is ridiculous. Like, it's better than people's memory. So I'm getting in with him because we're going to teach people about writing that Black poem. So now as artists, as soon as this jingle bells thing is over, you should be getting ready for your Black poem. So I told Nicki this, go ahead and start writing that new Black poem. I don't want to hear the old joint. You should be everybody.
What is like to be Black?
I got some good ones in the book.
A new one. Martin Luther King Day is in January, and Black History Month is boom.
Right. Then you got Women's History Month right after Black History Month.
Oh, yeah. If you want to skip the Black John, or you kind of you confused because you are a woman and you Black, then you could just do your woman's poem throughout the month of February leading into March, because that's Women's History Month. So either way, you should be coming out with a new piece for the top of the year because of those important times of the year. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, we've been on this joint for like an hour.
And of course, got some good gems up on here. Okay, the gems will drop today. Listen,
yes, I'm so happy that we moved. Aren't you happy that we moved it to StreamYard? And that was, I feel like today was a lesson too. Like, we could have just been dwelling in that it wasn't the way we wanted it to be, but I was like, no, let's just bring it to StreamYard. More people can have access to the replay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
this year has been all about readjusting.
That's good that you adjusted. But
Lord.
I'm a fan of consistent. If you say you're going to do something, make sure you follow through with it, because I was like,
only
no,
like 30 minutes.
where the Zoomer? Where the Zoom at?
Well, you were like 30 minutes late.
But I was coming.
You was on that CP time.
I definitely was. But I was on my way, and you don't know who was coming late.
Oh yeah, true.
But I do like the adjustment that you didn't give up. Because some people be like, yo, it's over. You know what?
And you know, last year I would have called you crying.
Yeah, back in the day, Nicki would have been like, yo, that show was trash. We ain't doing it. So it's all good. Like you said, switch up, adjust in the moment. I thought it was a good idea to bring her to StreamYard when she told me. And that's one of the things, like I said, but don't be afraid to finish with a failure. I did 2 clubhouses. No, 3, I think. 2 of them Jones was empty. One of them had like 4 people. And that's the process. You got to go through the roughing process. You can't have that diamond on your finger if it don't go through all that mess that it has to go through with the heat and the process of it sitting in the side of a mountain that you definitely don't want to go up and dig. You just want the diamond.
Yeah.
But you don't want to go to the mountain and dig and get blood diamonds when people are literally slaving over that diamond you have on your ring. And so when you look at your diamond, you're not looking at that shiny thing. You're looking at the entire process of why it's in that case in the first place. And so when I see a Zoom from Nicki and Nettie, and I see 200 people in it one day, I'm gonna be like, but people don't remember when she did one and it was one person. And you still, when y'all have that one person in the room, treat the one person like it was 500.
Yep.
So when Bree come in, all right, well, we just happy you got here, and but it's a process, and I do think the adjustments is necessary sometimes, because this was still good to me, and I definitely got to learn from you guys. So yeah, definitely good. And Nicki, you got something coming up tonight on Clubhouse?
Oh yes, I'm doing an open mic on Club House tonight. So if it's just me, I'm just gonna be performing for an hour. So.
I have a question. Can we access that if we're not on Clubhouse yet, or do you got to be exclusive on Clubhouse to see it?
It's some exclusive stuff. I'm sorry, Bree. You got to become a houser.
I'm trying to. I'm waiting for an invite. A waiting list, or somebody got to invite me.
Nettie, you all right? Nettie, you just got all right?
Yeah, but that's because somebody from my church.
Wait, but you should have an invite.
A church?
Yes. A sister
hard.
church.
I think they give out new ones every week. I think. Okay. I'm not sure. So I use mine already. Because everybody's asking me. I'm like, yo, I don't know when the next time I'm going to get it.
Well, next time somebody gets one, baby, won't you come my way?
No, but like you have to put it out there, because it may be somebody who has one and don't know you're not in.
Okay, I'll put it out there too.
Like Christina, she was just like, "Hey, I need an invite." I'm like, "All right, DM me, I got you." She wouldn't be in if she didn't do that. So that's a lesson.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a post like, whoever on Clubhouse, I know y'all out there.
Some of y'all got because some of them got like 3 invites. Some people got like a lot, depending on how long they've been on there. So they got them. You just they gotta give it up. Yeah.
I was happy because my sticker fell off, so I felt like an OG. I feel like an OG now because I don't got that little sticker no more.
Yeah, now we just gotta get our green John, the moderator John. They got like these little badges on there. It's weird.
Yeah, they show your level.
Yeah, your levels. Yeah, when you first joined, you want to get like a sticker. It made me think of like when you was in a club before you was 21 and you got the little wristband. So everybody knows.
That's deep.
Wait a minute. Mission, don't you have something coming up tonight at 8?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, his is at 6. Mine's is at 8.
No. Yours is at mine's is at 6.
Yours is at 6 and mine is at 8.
Yeah, because I gotta make hers. So mine is at 6 and it's called Story Time, the foster care poems, Revenge of the Foster Kids. So I'm going to be reading the series, the Revenge of the Foster Kids series that I released. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, but it goes through poetically. I wrote a whole story, 7 poetry. of this kid.
Oh, Bree, you gotta go on YouTube because them Jones was hot.
Yeah.
When I first dropped
it.
it, I think people missed it, but it's all good.
No. That last one, and then he had the music behind it. I was at my desk like this, like at work, tuned in, like, hold on.
Yeah, I had the sound effects and all
like a whole like suspense.
Yeah, I'm going to be reading my poetic stories.
Listen, I just subscribed so that I can go back and run them poems back, okay, and tune in.
Yeah, them foster care stories. That was crazy.
And his, he be having a lot of good series. He had this I like the little the pole vader with the woman with the professor one. I love that series. I don't care if nobody else didn't like it. I love it. I'm so okay.
Listen,
he had the praying poet.
I thought it was a good idea, but yeah, sometimes same thing. You're gonna do work that whatever. I think the people missed it, but don't be afraid to do your poetic stories, so you can leverage that too. So you're leveraging storytelling through your poems.
You said that because I actually just I recorded 2 videos for a 2-part poem that I want to be like a series. It's called "What Would Break a Child's Heart." And so I have 2 pieces, and I want to write one more piece to go with it and make it like a little mini series. I got 2 videos down. I just made to record the 3rd one. But if we plug in what we doing tonight, your girl also hosts an open mic Saturday nights at 10:00. It's called Sensual Saturday. So if you're not into erotica, I don't suggest this is the space.
Listen, they be getting because they clowned me on that one.
You don't gotta you don't got. I thought you. No, you don't. I don't know if you got any. Right, Nicki.
Oh, I have one in the tuck that I haven't released because it's going in the 3rd book. Yeah, I did.
She hit us with one.
I'm gonna hop on though. I'm gonna hop on that joint because I have.
It's on the Grapevine.
On his Shush series.
Yeah, when I dropped my last book, I'm like, oh, they're gonna love the foster care poems. They're gonna love the, a couple poems. They was like, no, we like that Shush series. It was people at my job over like, yo, this part is crazy. So I have a Shush series that's like, part 4, and that is I would say 90% of it is true, and 10% is a little But I might come by and read my little Shush series because
I gotta dive into the Shush series. I like.
Yeah,
do you got his book?
Yeah,
you need to go grab. You gotta grab his book.
I gotta grab. I've been following and I've been paying attention. I started tuning in for like the hip hop preaching series. That's that grabbed me.
You need to catch up, honey.
I'm behind. Those are late. Damn.
Yeah, because actually the hip hop preaching series that comes from I fell in love with hip hop and hip hop Death Bible. The people who listen to my work before knows where hip hop preaching series came from. That Yep.
Oh, I gotta dive. You got work. I thought I was doing something, man. I thought I was doing something. I gotta dive in. That's cool because I love. Honestly,
doing this little singing thing that you do.
What's happening? I'm always singing.
You singing your poetry?
No,
I don't. But I've been looking into. Tapping into it. I've reached out to someone for some vocal lessons and things
Nettie,
of that. You get lessons
but Nettie, you need to give me some lessons too.
I didn't know Nettie gave lessons. I thought she just was a vocalist. I didn't know she.
I mean, Nettie, that sounds like a bag to me. Like some.
You trying to give out lessons? What you trying to do?
Nettie sung with a legend from AC. What's her name? Nettie, stop playing. Like
Angela Burton.
That's a legend.
Yeah, she's got her own celebrity corner.
Angela Burton said, "I want her to back up this." So Nettie, that isn't bad.
Nettie carried the vocals, but if you, we're gonna have to. If you want to teach me,
I met Nettie singing. She wasn't doing when I first met Nettie. She did poetry that day, but her voice is what got me like,
Yeah,
Red, how she
her
shut
voice
down
is one in a million.
But
Nettie's voice
Echelon
is
Mall.
one in
I
a
also
million.
know my dancers too. So, huh?
You didn't tell them how you shut down Echelon Mall?
I don't. I'm a humble
Nettie
person. You know
be
that.
irking. She be irking
I'm
me. Like she
Nettie,
about to be done. I need
I'm
somebody
a
else because
humble
like
person. I'm a humble person. I don't
No,
talk
for real,
about me
yo.
like that.
I
When
need
I
you to
first
get
met
the stuff
Nettie,
off your chest,
we
Nettie,
met
and
at
let
this
us know what
at
you got going
Echelon Mall,
on.
which is really not a mall, no, that's garbage. But anyway, when I tell you she was singing, the people were walking by the mall. They stopped. Everybody just was stuck, like, and
I
like the
think.
whole mall, like food court people, kids, because it was like what is like a drum line that was practicing out there.
Yeah, and
The drum
so
line was like,
I also had dancers with me. Remember, I had Mike Memberry and April Watson. Yeah, I have dancers too.
Yeah,
they was dancing to her. It was
I
crazy.
love
It's
dancers.
Humble, but she really like Nettie is good at poetry. Like, don't get it twisted, but her singing is not even like I wouldn't hype it up. It's
wait.
really
First of all, she sung on that
Yeah,
on my show that you was on.
Yes, she
yeah.
did. She
Anti
did
love.
sing. She sung at that show. She sung at that.
you heard her in
I knew Nettie carry vocals. That's whenever I talk about Nettie, I always say her vocals are deep.
oh, it's
Thank you,
ridiculous.
guys.
It's ridiculous.
It shakes your spine. Like
Yeah.
her, I've never heard a voice like Nettie's. I'm not even saying that to
And
be
in person,
Oh,
it's
one in a kind. Or my question still remains: are you willing to teach others how to
I
get
got
there?
you.
I feel like I should see a flyer for that in like a week or
No,
You
two.
want me to make
Maybe
a
in the
flyer
new
for
year,
you?
she should be
What
dropping a
information
flyer
can I
to get
get
that
out
bag.
there?
that's
you're
the
not
easy
gonna see
bag.
a flyer. That's not my forte, but I will help a friend.
That's
And
the
after you help a friend and you see that you're skilled, I think that's a bag.
Because what's going to happen is if
Well,
you
let's
help a
see.
friend and you get that friend to that point she trying to get to, that
Mhm.
friend going to tell everybody
Tell a
who did
friend
that.
who tell a
Okay, so
friend.
then at that point, when that happens, I'll think
Oh,
about it.
well, when we get off this line, I'm gonna call you because I'm
Ah,
unsatisfied with that
Because you done
answer.
started
And Bishop don't look
something.
it's
satisfied
over.
with that
Started
answer.
something. Now you don't
Too
want
much.
something.
Yeah,
I don't know if admission want to call you or he want me to handle this one because
No, you got that. You got that. Because
you can't. I got my hand on my leg. I done
Nettie
been
got
back
the
like dog.
Nettie, you got the voice. You know you got the voice, and I think you definitely could do that. Hey,
Or
look, if
you can
not,
teach me. You
you
can
know
teach
what?
me how to
Bring
sing and I'll get the bag.
your money to somebody that won it.
That's what, teach me how to sing and I'll get that bag. Okay.
Listen.
Oh,
Just give me some tips. Just show me how to hold my dough. Like, do I dough?
No, but really, I think
I got you, girl.
if you tap into that, I can't mess with that. I'd be mad at Nettie when she be singing and poetry. I'm like, you showing off like that. Singing and poetry together, I love it. Like
It's beautiful. It's a
Maya,
beautiful
it's a lot of artists that do it. That's really good with it. Yeah.
yeah.
and I've been writing pieces that people been sending me over beats and tracks lately and stuff like write to that. And when I find myself writing to it, I find myself always like it always has a part where it turns into a little bit of a song, and I'm like, well, I can't hold the notes that I think should be held here. I have to find this for somebody else. I can't get there. Like I need to.
Collab.
I've been wanting to work on it and invest in it. So like I met with a little.
I think that could definitely
Well,
help
you can definitely FaceTime me. We can get it going. We can get it popping.
Let me know the days of the week. I work Mondays through Fridays till 4. So you know what I'm saying? Let me know.
Oh, okay. So then anytime after 4.
Anytime after 4. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go. I'm 402.
So y'all get that together. Anybody got anything? Oh, while we talk about plugging stuff, I almost forgot about myself that I am dropping my ebook, The Shy Girl's Guide to Self-Publishing.
I can't wait
It
to
will
come.
be available on the 28th, 1 week countdown. Anybody got anything else they want to plug? I think I'm forgetting something because I have a lot of them.
I'm about to say, don't
what's the price of it, and where can they find the link when you drop it?
The link, everything is going to be on my website, NickiDthePoet.org.
But we know that she's gonna post the link.
Yeah.
As soon as it drops. We know that
the flyer will be posted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't you have an end of the year open mic that you're doing, Nick?
Oh yes, thank you, Bree. How did I forget? Yes, and I'm having an end of the year open mic on December the 30th at 7:30. So I have a couple artists that's coming on live. It's going to be streamed live on Facebook and YouTube through StreamYard.
I'll
Of
be there.
course. Yes,
All right,
Nettie is on the lineup.
But-
I don't know
Bree.
if I told you I was gonna be there, but I'm gonna be there. I don't listen. I just slide up under the comments like, add me in, sis. Add me in. I don't remember if I did or not, so add me
Right,
in.
you gotta make sure you boss up. Like, you know what I mean? No more, throw your own open mics. Visit open mics, but you definitely should have your own. There's no reason why we.
Yeah. I just had that conversation with somebody. I was like, listen, I'm come January. You're gonna have to come on and show me some love, okay?
Right.
Come on to the open mics and steam. But I am having one this Sunday too. I'm having one. Listen, because we talking about stuff. I'm having one. It's my Say experience. I held it last November live in person. This tomorrow we're doing it virtually. It'll be held on Instagram live. But then we're having an exclusive Facebook room afterwards. And we don't just do open mics. We always have something interactive. So we'll be doing an interactive yoga session for anyone who wants to be a part of it. We'll be having discussions. And if you wanna hop on, all you gotta do is tune into the live, and we'll add you on, and you can go into rotation like this. So that'll be tomorrow starting at 7. Y'all, we be busy. We be working.
Yeah. I'm about to say, drop the flyers in the comment section so everybody can see what everybody got going on.
Yeah.
And the link to your book, because Bree got a book, Ambition got books. I got a book. Nettie book is coming soon.
Yep.
Go check out Nettie YouTube page.
But yeah, check out her YouTube page. Nettie, drop your SoundCloud because you never be dropping your SoundCloud anywhere.
And that SoundCloud is crazy.
True.
Nettie, you don't be that. Nettie got.
I know her for like
Nettie
a year, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm on SoundCloud." I'm like, "What?
Nettie,
You told me this a year ago?"
Listen, how I get Center on SoundCloud before I get you on SoundCloud?
No, I'm giving you guys the post. So when we've done stuff, I've always put it in the comments.
Nettie gotta drop that sound. That SoundCloud is crazy.
Yeah. And I also gave you 2 personal CDs of each album. You remember?
Oh, about
Okay.
She's like me.
No, I gave them to
I got the exclusives. But even her son, like her whole, like they all got music for days, like over there, like that's what they do over there. Like,
yeah.
I wish they would.
I pulled her up, y'all. I pulled her up.
In their work.
Okay. Listen.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'm about to get off of here.
Yeah, I'm about to get off too.
Yes, I gotta make my ways to my babies. This was so fun.
Yes, thank you guys for coming on with me, even though I asked you guys last minute.
You're welcome.
I appreciate the conversation and all the gems. And till next time, see you guys. I'm Nicki D the Poet. Follow me,
Bye.
Nicki D the Poet, on everything. Bye.
Bye.